Hello Divine Souls, and welcome to my channel. This is Introduction to Tarot. This is part 1 of a video series where I will be exploring the Major Arcana for growth and expansion purposes. I want to start out by clearly stating that the universal principles that the Major Arcana of the traditional Tarot represent are absolutely not separate from us, as if it is a construct of knowingness that exists outside or separate from our scope of consciousness. Our existence in a human vessel represents the universal divinity of all that exists within the interconnectedness of the vast organism of universal consciousness. So it's not a matter of us acquiring knowledge, it's about reclaiming our higher knowingness that we already embody on a soul level of dimensionality. It is another form of awakening, a sacred spiritual outlet that assists in aligning the fragmented aspect of self in a third-dimensional existence as human with all that our soul fully embodies as universal truth. We are choosing to be in a dynamic existence in a third-dimensional construct of reality to transcend, through the process of alchemy, the illusion into truth, separation into connectedness, scarcity into abundance, ignorance into understanding, disempowerment into empowerment, and the list goes on. We are willingly participating in the collective human experience to demonstrate multidimensional ascension of consciousness through the process of transcending duality and polarity through the divine magic of alchemy. The Tarot represent a frequency channel that resonates to the tune of universal truth. When you step into the sacred space of utilizing the cards, you are willingly synchronizing your frequency of conscious states to resonate to that frequency of universal truth. And as such, this should not be entered into from lower vibrational states of ego, or the channel will be distorted, as will the understanding of the messages you receive. In ego states, it will be difficult to receive frequency codes that resonate in the spectrum of light and love. And most often what happens is the channel is distorted due to the lower vibrational state the user is presenting, and the flow of higher dimensional transmissions that hold codes of resonating truth will be blocked from flowing through. Energy attracts the same frequency. And you must remember this when you're stepping into the sacred space of utilizing the cards. You have to be very mindful of your balanced states internally. If you feel a pull to the cards, but you often experience a block of information flowing through, and you just find yourself trying to just stare at the cards and decipher what you think they mean. It's because there is shadow work that is required to clear your energetic field, to elevate your frequency, to reflect the higher resonating frequencies of higher knowingness that only flows through your higher senses or abilities. And ego always blocks access to higher vibrational frequencies. We all have aspects of self that require healing in our core before we can reclaim our soul potentiality, and our higher soul abilities can flow in the limitlessness of possibility. The cards are a gateway that leads to an open channel of unlimited universal information if you have the aptitude to approach the cards from an elevated universal conscious state. There's a big difference between reading symbols and thinking your way through what they mean and trying to figure out how it fits into your ego perspective, and opening the channel of higher information that flows limitlessly through your higher conscious soul states, that understands beyond the symbology of what the card itself or the artwork expresses. It is my conviction and core belief that we should never utilize the cards for superficial means. I am in higher service to dismantle the illusions of separation that oppress and stifle humanity's divinity. And the only way to dismantle any lie is to shine light into the shadows within the core of that individual, to get to the depth of the fear that is really creating the turmoil of suffering and pain, and not just the immediate external surface of the situation they are experiencing in their reality at that present moment. The only way to end the imprisonment of suffering is to get to the core of the suffering, which requires a willingness of heart to reclaim empowered states of consciousness that opens the channel for our divinity to flow through, that is not confined to the limited nature of ego states. So I want you to keep this in mind when you're approaching the cards, and take time to build a personal relationship and strengthen your own higher abilities before you try to step into the space of reading cards for other people, or take an ego approach to working with the cards. You are so much more if you have the courage to really embody that as truth and do the work that's required to step into your soul potentiality. It is my deepest intention through the series of exploring the Major Arcana to shed light on the universal principles that the cards represent, to inspire the hearts of individuals to awaken their soul potentiality and reclaim their empowered states of wholeness, to harmonize with the highest resonating frequencies of universal truth and activate their higher conscious states of divinity, and integrate with all they already are that is waiting to be experienced on the other side of the coin dualistic reality beyond ego states. To utilize the tarot as a spiritual channel that is sacred, and to heighten our higher abilities to work in synchronized states with the universe, to access information that will aid in our personal growth and spiritual expansion on our unique expression through the collective human experience journey. So in this series, I'll be introducing an elevated interpretation of each card, starting with the Fool, which is the first card, which holds the numeric frequency of 0, all the way through to the universe, which holds the numeric frequency of 21. I will be interpreting the universal principles that each card in the Major Arcana represents in our journey through self-mastery. Utilizing the Major Arcana for growth and expansion, methods and guidelines to follow when you start working with the cards. There are many ways to approach working with the tarot, but for the sake of sticking with the intention of utilizing the Major Arcana for growth and expansion, to do a personal reading, instead of pulling from the entire deck, you're only going to be pulling from the Major Arcana section, and you're only going to be working with one card at a time. This is strictly for growth and expansion, to gain insight and information regarding your current path in the transformation and transcendence process. When you start working with the cards, the most important element to focus on is getting out of your mind and anchoring your focus into your heart. Your spiritual heart will allow your higher abilities to engage and information to flow through your intuitive pathways. Your intuition and feelings will guide you to the truth that you're seeking. Spiritual work and working with any spiritual tool are all about feeling more than thinking. When we engage the mind too much, it pulls us into ego states, and the true messages will be distorted because the ego mind will always try to interpret messages received from a mental approach that tries to manipulate or deny the truth, the true meaning of the information, to figure out how the information fits into their immediate thought processes of how they think it is relevant to their path or their life. The difference of approaching the cards from an open heart is to receive the messages that your mind is missing, that will lead you to the internal resolution to balance what is out of balance internally, to restructure your external world, to promote your lighted potential. You must always, first and foremost, before you start working with the cards, conduct a clearing and cleansing practice. Connect to your heart center and cleanse the energy in your space and in your energy field before you start working with any spiritual tool, or before you start conducting any ritual or any kind of practice. This seals the space and your energy bodies and physical vessel in the highest frequencies of light and love to protect you from negative interference. So you open a pure and clean channel and maximize a lighted experience. I always pull to me my team before I work. I call my angels, archangels, my star family, and star beings of light to assist me in holding the highest frequency of light and love, and they assist in clearing the space and removing negative, unwanted energies by placing a protective sphere of light around my ethereal body and physical vessel. This also allows your guides to communicate with you through the cards messages of relevance to your current personal growth and spiritual expansion path. Again, I would like to state that you should refrain from using the cards for superficial means. You should also refrain from utilizing someone else's cards, crystals, or other spiritual tools. You must value yourself enough to invest in yourself and invest in your own spiritual tools. You should keep them in a secure area that no one else has immediate access to. Treat them sacredly, with respect. You should follow these guidelines out of respect for the sacredness of what they represent and to honor your own unique frequency of energy that intertwines with all instruments of a spiritual nature. It keeps them clean and cleared of unwanted lower vibrational energies and interference. When you have completed your cleansing and clearing practice and you're now ready to begin, you may work with the cards in numerous different ways. Basically, whatever way resonates with you the highest is what you should follow. Always listen to and trust your intuition. I'm going to be giving you 3 examples to follow if you have never had exposure to the cards before and you're just getting started. The first way that you can work with the cards is through hand shuffling method. You begin by holding the section of the cards in one hand, and with the other hand begin to shuffle the cards in a front and back motion quickly until one card presents itself. If more than one card presents itself, set the other cards aside, and in your hand shuffle quickly the cards that presented themselves until one card is presented. Now, this is only a method and guideline to follow for this specific growth and expansion reading where we're only utilizing one card. The second way is through a spread method. You would begin by placing the cards in a stack, and using one hand, you spread the cards out in a fan-like or half-moon pattern. Next, take your right hand and hover over the cards and span the cards energetically until you receive a sensation, or maybe you see light around one significant or specific card, or one card just seems to stand out more than the others. So then you would pull that one card. You may do this with the cards face up or face down. For this particular reading, it makes no difference because the cards you are meant to work with will present itself to you. It will stand out in some way more than the others. It's just a matter of you trusting your higher guidance, your intuition. If you're a visual person, then gazing at the artwork and clearing your mind of thoughts might resonate better with you. If you're a more tactile person, then shuffling will resonate with you more. It's totally up to you. Or you can just simply choose to go through the section from one card at a time. If you're particularly drawn to a card, then by all means, make this a dedicated weekly practice to promote awareness, growth, and expansion by just working with one card at a time and going through the process to promote awareness, growth, and expansion. There is no right or wrong way to pull your card because you are only utilizing this practice for your own purposes and not for the purpose of seeking answers about someone else's path. The best way to build a relationship with the cards and strengthen the channel for information to flow through your higher abilities is to utilize the cards for yourself. First and foremost, listen to your intuition. 3 recommended ways to work with the Major Arcana to promote enhanced focus and initiate shadow work. One way is visual aid, to maintain focus in the areas of healing and balance, to end old programming and dysfunctional ego patterns, to transform and elevate higher states of consciousness to promote the transcendence process. You can make a vision board centered around the principles, challenges, and abilities each card is representing to maintain your focus and to promote creating experiences that will allow you the opportunity to apply what you're trying to elevate within yourself. Or you can just simply leave the card where you will see it periodically throughout your day to maintain focus. It is completely up to you how you want to utilize the cards as a visual aid. Be creative and enjoy the process. The second way that I recommend is through focused meditation, to manifest the lessons and resolutions required to aid in your journey of mastering universal principles. Meditation can really activate shadow work by allowing the unwanted to surface so that we can face it. Ignorance is the state that lacks understanding. So if you want to understand self and this life, you must elevate your understanding of the universal principles that we all journey through in this lifetime in physicality as human. Meditating with the card will allow the channel to open for you to work with your guides to enhance growth and expansion through shadow work. By elevating understanding through higher states of divine knowingness, so that we can start peeling back the onion to get to the core of what our pain and suffering is. And that's when healing really starts to take place. And then we start to elevate into higher states of consciousness, which promotes the transcendence process and also ascension. The third way is a very intimately personal approach. It's through ritualistic practice. And this is a powerful way to connect with the card that presents itself to you to celebrate, first and foremost, by offering gratitude for it. And two, to also, like in meditation, open the intuitive pathway to receive messages of light that will guide you positively to the paths that will assist you in experiencing encounters that will assist in tangibly embodying these principles. If we do not experience it, we do not embody a deep connection to them and elevate our gratitude for how they work to our favor in the transcendence process. Everyone has a pull or preference to what kind of ritualistic practice they're drawn to. I'll leave it up to you to decide what resonates the highest with you. And again, listen to your intuition. So I'd like to conclude by saying that the key outline for each of the video series that follows this part 1 video will offer a brief overview of the Major Arcana specific tarot card and the universal principles it represents, along with a breakdown of core attributes for each card. Then in the following section of each video, I'll be diving deeper into the meaning of the universal principles and how they are working to our favor to assist us in our transformation and transcendence journey. I will also be presenting the challenges and abilities we possess to find the resolve and transcend the challenges. In the last section of each video presentation, I'll be providing positive affirmations that are relevant to each singular card for the purpose of working with the cards in meditation, ritualistic practice, or as visual aid tool to stimulate a conscious approach to your growth and expansion process. We all must elevate our desire to see the value in embracing these universal principles and consciously choose to become aware of these principles and up-level our gratitude to become conscious of our journey through the collective human experience. Thank you so much for listening. If you found this information valuable, please support this channel by subscribing, liking the video. Also click the bell to receive future notifications on upcoming videos in the series, and share this information with someone you feel can benefit. Bye for now.